Welcome back to the Section 10 Podcast, episode 527, presented by Underdog Fantasy. It is the home of your soon-to-be 2025 World Series champion Boston Red Sox. My name is Jared Carrabis, and I am a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Coley Mick, and he's 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. And this right here, this is Tyler Milliken, and he killed his dog Bullet, and you can't teach that. Bada boom. Realest guys in the room. Steve, how you do it?
Ooh, what up, Section 10 in the building?
In the mother fucking building. Presented by Blue Moon.
Suck one.
Produced by Jake Yazzie.
Fuck yeah.
The Puke boys are back. This is this feels right. I'm in a great mood tonight. And people are like, oh my God, great move. Like, what? They traded the sign break. No, it has nothing to do with that. I'm just happy that the Puke boys are back. A lot of people were confused. They were like, what is GERT? Like, what is that? And the amount of times I had to explain that GERT was just yogurt. Our guy Jake just pounding away the yogurt. Didn't agree with his stomach. I don't know how many stomachs it would agree with. Maybe. I'm not, you know what? We're going to be nice to T because he was sick.
Whoa.
I didn't say it.
Listen, shout out Trix. They used to make the best yogurt. I used to eat it every single day before they stopped selling it.
Yeah. How you feeling, T? Welcome back.
I don't know. It's been a weird week or so for me. I kind of suffered somewhat of an ab strain, so I haven't been able to do my sit-up program. So that's been kind of disappointing.
You're doing sit-ups?
Yeah, I'm doing roughly 30 a day right now.
Why?
I'm just trying to get like a little stronger in my middle foundation.
Your core.
Yeah. So how does that work? So you get home from work and you just, all right, here we go. Just start doing 30 sit-ups.
Well, I have a wooden floor, so I put my feet against the wall and then I just, as fast as I can, over and over and over.
You shouldn't do it as fast as you can. You're not gonna. You're gonna, like, your neighbors are gonna think you're trying to suck your own dick or something.
Wait, what did it look like? T? Can you do it again? I didn't even see it.
It was like that, like really quick. But I do it. I put the hands first.
Yeah,
I stopped doing. It
looks like you're having a mental breakdown.
It's a little bit of that, but I've been feeling a little tighter in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, I would advise you to not do them as fast. Like, you want to be able to feel the contraction. Like, you want to get something out of it. If you're like, if I'm doing curls, I'm not doing this because like you're not contracting the muscle. Like, you want to feel it. You want to feel the burn, T.
I do feel somewhat of a burn when I tend to do it. I'm
just because you're going so fast. You're doing cardio. You're not doing abs.
That might explain why I haven't seen much of a transformation, at least physically yet. It's been more feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll also add the picture that got put out of me and Jake laying in bed, like sick.
Yeah.
My mom called me to ask if that was real because she didn't understand that it was created.
There you go, Corey.
She was like,
That's
how
how good
did
Corey
you and Jake have time to take a...
Yeah, Corey's
great.
It
was crazy.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to my mom that me and Jake did not, sit in a bed together while healing up.
Well, separate beds. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. I'm happy that you're feeling better. Happy that you're feeling better. Happy that you're back. Happy Jake's back. Happy to have everyone together for the first time, and it feels like quite some time. Feels like an appropriate time to have everyone together because everyone's expecting some big news or something like that. I don't know. I feel like we're going to disappoint some people. There's no big news to report as of this hour. People were asking if the streets were talking. Streets were not talking today. They were talking a lot yesterday. There was a lot of yapping in the streets yesterday. Today, nothing. People were asking, does that mean that something is imminent? It's hard to say based on the behavior of this team, this front office this winter. It felt like at times that, at the beginning of the offseason, let's say that, rewind to November, and you had people saying there were actual reports being like, Corbin Burns, Alex Bregman, Max Fried, Blake Snell, they're going to get at least 3 out of 4 of those guys. And that has not been the case. And then you have Breslow talking publicly like, we're aggressive. There's urgency. It's like, okay. And Sam Kennedy defending the whole we've been aggressive and the urgency thing. It's like, okay, well, the results haven't been there to kind of back that up, that you've been aggressive and treated this offseason with some urgency. So while I'd love to be able to sit here and say, yeah, the streets have been talking, which means it's got to mean that something's got to happen. Like, where there's smoke, there's fire. There's been smoke earlier in this offseason that amounted to quite literally nothing. So I'm proceeding with caution. Like, yes, there's some smoke. I think everyone has kind of put 2 and 2 together and figured out what the smoke has to do with Nolan Arenado. But like, I think it's more like I don't trust the front office, especially now where we're reading the reports about the Cardinals being stingy about, the money situation. Like, are we sending money over? We're standing firm on what we are comfortable kicking over in terms of money. I think put it this way. My personal belief is if the Cardinals can make it tasty enough for Craig Breslow, it's a done deal. Do I trust that the Cardinals will make it tasty enough? It seems like the Cardinals are being a little bit stubborn about the Nolan Arenado situation. That being said, there was also was it reported that the Cardinals didn't want Nolan Arenado even showing up? That was reported?
No.
Oh. So let's just say hypothetically. Let's just say hypothetically, the Cardinals would like to get something done before there's like a player reporting to camp or something like that.
February 17th, 5 days from now.
5 days from now. That would put somewhat of a timetable on things. And does it feel like the Red Sox have moved? That was the thing. People saying like, oh, it feels like the Red Sox have moved on from Bregman. Can you really move on if you weren't really a major player to begin with? I think it's disingenuous to say that the Red Sox moved on from Bregman when their best offer was never seriously considered by the Bregman camp.
I did have a question. There was the Bob Nightingale report from a couple days ago saying that the Red Sox were one of 3 teams that made a 4-year offer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Okay. So it's the original hypothetical offer that we have talked about for some time.
I can't tell you for sure. But, I think if something were to have changed, I would probably know about it. And on my end, I don't think anything changed. So if nothing changed, then I think we're still in like the 3-year offer range. No?
Yeah, and I think where the Red Sox have been, it's pretty clear they know they have the Cardinals kind of over a barrel right now where, hey, no one else wants Nolan Arenado. That's kind of just the reality of the situation. At least
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
Maybe the Yankees, if the money starts getting crazy and you're talking about eating half or more, they could kind of get in there. The Padres have been the other team kind of loosely connected to him. And then we know he's wanted to go to the Dodgers, but it hasn't seemed that mutual. So The Red Sox are the situation, according to Jeff Passan, that still makes the most sense. But yeah, it's going to be up to the Cardinals. Are you going to eat half or more? And I do think if they're willing to eat more of that contract, it becomes a lot easier to swallow that deal as a whole, because if Nolan Arenado falls off a cliff in a year or two, it's not as hard to DFA or move him. If he's making like 10 million AAV instead of like 15, 345 like it was going to be with the Astros, it's a pretty flexible contract.
Sure. Totally. I feel like you have some thoughts.
I just hate really every front office person other than the Dodgers. What is this? This is disgusting. It feels like when Bryce Harper and Manny Machado were free agents and everyone was just a big pussy about it. I don't do a deal, dude. Just do it. But I'm both sides. I can get mad at Breslow for a million other things that he did or didn't do this offseason. This I don't feel like is fully on him. I think the Red Sox could have gotten this done a month ago if they didn't pretend to go after Alex Bregman that whole time. Mm-hmm. Now that it seems like they're coming to the reality, we can actually just look at Arenado. Now the Cardinals are being dicks.
The Cardinals have been dicks the whole time, if we're being honest.
Probably.
I'm not absolving the Red Sox of any blame in the situation, but
they did try and move him. To their credit, they did try to move him to multiple teams, and
they
Arenado
did the deal.
Said no.
They basically moved him.
Right. So that's where I think if the Red Sox were more active then, they could have just got it done by now. Now sure. I think both teams, like Arenado feels like he's told them, send me to Boston. And that will also hurt because they know he wants to come here and they know we want him.
Yeah. And you look at it, I think when you look at the fact that they were willing to let Arenado go somewhere else, it's pretty telling that, yeah, we have our number kind of set and we're not going to bend unless, they get there. And it's an interesting situation when you have Craig Breslow, who's doubling down every chance he get. Before he got to Fort Myers, he did it on Fenway Rundown. Hey, we're still looking for that right-handed bat. He even said it really wasn't about defense. It was more about what they could do with the plate, which, no offense, when you're talking Nolan Arenado, we know at this point, the biggest thing you're getting out of him is that defense. The fact that he would give you the best left side of the infield, arguably in baseball defensively. That would be a game changer when, the infield is destroy the team for some time whenever Trevor Story's gone down.
Yeah. I mean, the way that I see it is if the Cardinals are thinking we don't want to, we want to get something done before Nolan reports because we don't want the distraction of him showing up and this being the storyline of our camp. I mean, put it this way, Marcus Stroman showed up to Yankee camp knowing they tried to get rid of me all offseason, and I don't project to have a starting spot in the rotation. That seems way worse. If Nolan doesn't get traded, he's still your third baseman for the St. Louis Cardinals, and you just kind of figure it out. I don't know that you try to mend the relationship, but you just, both sides are professional about it and you move forward. So I'd like to think that there's some sort of deadline on this and that it gets done early next week. But again, I just look at both sides and how stubborn both sides have been about it. And on the Red Sox side of things, I can see early on, December-ish, if they were talking about a Nolan Arenado trade, then you kind of look at it as, is this the avenue that we take to get rid of Masataka Yoshida? And I don't mean get rid of he's a bad player. I know we joke about Yoshida on this podcast and trying to trade him, but it's never that I don't think he's a good hitter. It's that he doesn't fit the roster for what, if you're trying to improve your infield defense, then you're displacing a guy that you signed very long term who's your third baseman. So he needs somewhere to go, and he hasn't played first base, and you already have a really good first baseman in Triston Casas. And the fans, I think a lot of the fans that are rejecting the idea of an Arenado trade are rejecting it on the pretense that Casas has to go if Nolan comes in. That's not true. It's just proven to be quite difficult to move on from Yoshida, and not because he's a bad player, but he just doesn't fit what you're trying to do here. If we go back to the quotes from the beginning of the offseason and Breslow saying, we need to improve the infield defense and add a right-handed bat, you haven't done either of those things. If you're going to do that, it was either going to be with Alex Bregman, who they didn't really seem all that interested in, even though they tried to. You've got Cora, who I believe really wants him, and Sam Kennedy reportedly wanted him, and I believe that even John Henry, to a point, wanted Alex Bregman. Not enough to make a competitive offer. So that's why I'm not going to give John Henry full credit for wanting Alex Bregman, because if you wanted him that bad, then you would have made the offer that was competitive, and they haven't done that. So here we are with the Nolan Arenado situation, which is why I want to pivot to, I believe it was Tyler's tweet, where was it you that said, has anyone considered what happens to Marcel Meyer if you bring in Nolan Arenado? Because everyone's penciled in Campbell for second base. Vaughn Grissom reportedly has gained 20 pounds, which means he's it's a net positive 3 pounds. So Vaughn Grissom, I don't want to write off. You've got Kristian Campbell, who can also play left field if need be. But then now you've got a crowded outfield situation. You gave an extension to Rafaela. You've got Roman Anthony coming up. You've got Willier, who we thought they were going to trade for pitching, and they didn't. They did not do that. And then Jarren Duran, who is arguably the best player on the team. I don't even think it's arguable. I think he's the best player on the team. No disrespect to Rafi, but we're talking about the full package of what a player can bring to the table. So answer your own question, Tyler. If you trade for Nolan Arenado, who's under control for 3 more years, because I believe there was language in his deal that the option at the end of his deal got tacked on, so it's 3 years for $15 million. I think it's the last season. So if you've got Nolan for 3, what happens to Meyer?
Yeah, it becomes a really awkward conversation. Now, I've seen some people talk Trevor Story, who was also locked up for 3 more years here. And I think that relationship between him and Arenado is going to be something to watch. if Arenado comes here and he's that kind of veteran you've been looking for, him and Story, leadership-wise, it's going to quickly become kind of their team in a lot of ways. But if you're going to have Trevor Story and Nolan Arenado locked in, unless Story goes off this year and opts out, which I think is unlikely, Story's value comes from his defense. That is what he is as a player at this point. So if you're going to take Marcelo Meyer, who's getting reps at second and third this spring, okay, you plug him at second. All of a sudden, Kristian Campbell's in left field. And, there's similar conversations with Bregman, but with Bregman, you're getting a couple more peak years. At this point, we know where Arenado is at in this, point in his career.
Do we though? Because you weren't here last week when I brought up the point about the way that they can take a guy's season and overlay it to if he played half a season at Fenway instead. We're talking a 290 hitter with like an 825 OPS. We all know he's still good defensively. So everyone keeps talking about him like he's washed, but you put this guy at Fenway Park and he's motivated to be like, fuck you guys, like the Cardinals. Like if that player shows up, he can, they only need him to be a 3-win player or better. He can roll out of bed and do that next year. I 100% believe that. So he's not washed. Is he an MVP candidate?
No,
probably not. But is he is he an above average baseball player? Yes, he is. So
yeah, I think the defense is the carrying tool there. But if you're being realistic, over the last 5 seasons, he's had 1 year with the 112 weighted runs created plus or better. And that was that crazy 22 season. But in 2020 and 2021, there were signs of that regression coming. And now it's continued in 2023 and 2024. When you look at the contact, stuff as well, it's 9th percentile average exit velo, 6th percentile barrel percentage, 12th percentile hard hit percentage.
Pull up those September numbers.
Most similar hitter in terms of his batted ball data, 2018 Adrian Beltre. That was Adrian Beltre at the very end of his career, right before he kind of left. And, he was a league average hitter at that point. That would be my expectation for Nolan Arenado at this point. And, he said in September and all this different stuff, I'm willing to change things. Maybe I was hitting too much. I think you hope for a league average bat, maybe a little bit better with well above average defense. That's what you hope for. But it could
league average bat would be awesome.
Yeah. Don't you think that that's very much attainable?
If Trevor Story had a league average bat, he'd have the most popular jersey in the city.
Yeah, I don't think the offense with Tyler O'Neill is as drastic as some people treat it. Because if you get the full season of Triston Casas and Trevor Story, along with a Kristian Campbell per se, that should make up a lot of that gap while improving your infield defense. I was in that camp with a lot of people when there was any talk of Triston Casas coming out of the lineup, which was the rumors back in December. I was immediately out because I felt like your lineup wouldn't be able to survive. If you still have Casas and Devers here, plus you're getting a bump with Devers, who's going to be at DH, call it 80% of the time, there's a way that this does balance out. But with the Marcelo Meyer conversation, you plug him at second and Campbell in left. That logjam in the outfield is only getting worse with Duran, Rafaela, Abreu, Campbell factoring in there. Like, it's going to get hard. Anthony, like, how do you fit all these pieces? You're going to need to make some deals at some point. But Marcelo Meyer probably won't be ready until about the middle of the year. So there's a little time. Injuries will happen, but you're going to have to make hard decisions at some point, and they've yet to make those. And is it worth it to, create some of these blockages for a guy who, could fall off in a year or two and not, be even the player that Marcelo Meyer is?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, with the whole money situation with the Cardinals too, it's like you're not married to Nolan for 3 years. But I think the way that I look at it, I think it was a point that Coley made not too long ago, is let Breslow do his thing. You hired the guy to come in and make the baseball decisions. So maybe for once, don't overstep. Like don't big league the guy. Like if the ownership wants a player, well, you hired Breslow to make the baseball decisions. Obviously, famously, John Henry stormed the castle, as they say, at 98.5, the fucking Sports Hub in 2011, I believe it was. And he said, Larry Lucchino runs the Red Sox. And this is when they had Theo Epstein making the calls. Theo Epstein was the general manager in his last year as general manager in 2011. And you had John Henry saying, Larry Lucchino runs the Red Sox. Okay, so then what's the point of having a general manager if that's not the last and ultimate say? I think we're sort of seeing a little bit of a philosophy change. Shocker, the Red Sox change philosophy all the time. It's just what they do. They say we don't sign pitchers over the age of 30, and then they make David Price the highest paid pitcher in baseball history. But I just find it interesting if Sam Kennedy is saying, I want Alex Bregman, and John Henry, to some degree, I believe, wanted Alex Bregman, and you didn't come close to getting Alex Bregman. Well, that means that Breslow's calling the shots. So whether he's right or whether he's wrong remains to be seen, but at least they're letting him do his job. And whether or not, I mean, I don't believe Bregman's coming, but it sounds like Arenado is it's a very realistic scenario. Whether it happens or not, we'll see. I guess at the end of the day, I like that Breslow is sticking to his guns on things, and he's not just like caving to the pressure of the fan base saying like, we got to do something. Like if it's not Bregman, it's got to be Nolan. If it's not Nolan, then we got to do this. He's just he has a plan and he's sticking to it. We just don't know if that plan is going to amount to a playoff team or not. He believes so. He was asked the question yesterday. Is this a playoff team? I don't know who. I love how he doesn't expand on his answers ever.
Yep.
They're like, hey, you believe this is a playoff team? He's like, yes. You believe that this team is going to the playoffs? Yes. Next question. That was it. Like he wasn't like, well, we got a good crop of young players and we got a good rotation. He was just like, yep, playoff team. Anyway, yep. That was it.
Over there. He did pause for like a second and was just like, yes. Which is basically like, please don't ask a follow up, because like I kind of sort of think that they're I think in his brain was saying like, do you think? No, just say yes. Like if you say no, that's going to be a whole thing. I think that all ran through his head at the same time. Yeah. And he's like, just say yes and let's just keep it moving. Next question. I'll talk about Crochet if you want to, but no extension. But yeah. Yes.
I want to talk about the Underdog Fantasy app.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk to about. MLB season is right around the corner, and Underdog Fantasy wants to make it a lot more interesting. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats like strikeouts, total bases, home runs, and so much more. Make entries of all baseball, or you can mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. I know Coley likes to mix and match across basketball, baseball, football. You can do that with the Underdog Fantasy app, and I would suggest that you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's JARED to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. Steve was relocating to a room with better Wi-Fi while we were having this conversation. But Steve, where are you at on the Nolan Arenado thing? Because it feels like this could possibly happen, but we're still in the haggling of money phase with these two sides.
So how do you say his name? Is it John Mozeliak? Is that the right way? Mozeliak, so Johnny Mo. It just seems like he's not willing to budge at all, right? Like, I don't want to...
No, he's a fucking asshole.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't going to go that far.
He's going to be done in a year.
I wrote down here, does this guy kind of suck? And that's
he sucks.
That's what it seems like right now. I mean, they've done nothing this offseason, right? Haven't they made no moves? And yet at the beginning of the offseason... They traded
Nolan Arenado to the Astros.
Yeah, they did a trade that got vetoed by the player they traded.
Got Sonny Gray sitting there that they haven't dealt. It's like, what the fuck do you need him for if you're essentially taking a step back and no longer care about competing?
Yeah, so I look at what they're doing right now, and they have, I don't think, any clue what they're doing, which is weird with the Cardinals, too, like the history they have with their organization. The fact that they're just kind of sitting there, like not really going one way or the other. The pieces they have, you'd think they would have just sold them off and definitively started a rebuild. But yeah, Johnny Mo seems like a dickhead, and he doesn't really want to, make this move. It does feel like, and Jerry, maybe hypothetically, you know the answer to this. Mm-hmm. It does feel like this is closer than maybe we might expect, that this is over a small margin of money that
I don't know that
they don't want to eat. Okay, so I'm curious of how many millions they're not willing to eat from the contract, because clearly Nolan would waive the no trade to come to the Red Sox, and it seems like there's a lot of smoke right now that he's going to end up being traded here. And if I didn't know that they don't report for another 5 days. I was not aware of that. I will say, because I did report to that spring training park. That park sucks. If I'm Nolan Arenado, I'd want to get out of there. That spring training facility is terrible. And I know you guys mentioned this before my internet cut out, but why would you want to go to a spring training facility when the entire offseason, everyone knows you want out, the team's going to ship you out, and it's highly likely that you're not going to be there. You were already traded.
Dealt.
So like, it should almost, both sides should disagree. Like, it makes no sense for you to come to the spring training facility, but they're, dragging this out. Johnny Moe's dragging this out as long as he can.
But that speaks to like Bill DeWitt Jr., the owner. Like it's all about money. They are a cheap ass team and they're sitting in this place. And truthfully to them, it's just about money. Like that's what they want here. And if they're not going to get their proper salary relief, they're just going to tell everyone like, hands up. Now you hope you force their hand enough that they're embarrassed that they're going to have Arenado around. But it's a cheap ass organization. That's what the Cardinals are at this point.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Rockies are still paying some of that deal. Yeah.
$10 million.
Yeah.
Like the Astros got him for $345. At that time the Cardinals were going to pay $5 million a year. So if the Red Sox want half of that money, he's going to be making like $10 million, a little bit more than that AAV.
Yeah.
Like at that point for Arenado, like don't get me wrong, it's not my preferred path, but when you wait all offseason like Craig Breslow did and you don't want to work with urgency, these are the options on the table for you.
It sucks for all parties involved. It's like you don't want this. In a perfect world, this would have been done in January or like December. Obviously, the Bregman thing kind of holds it up because you're trying to see if you can get him on a cheaper deal. But you don't want this to go to March.
If you had asked me, or if you had told me back in November that Bregman was going to be the last player standing and that it was going to be another winter of a player on a free agent tour and it goes into spring training, never would have guessed that it would have been him. Like, I told you, when I was flying to Disney, this was during the fucking winter meetings. It was like the first week of December. And I FaceTimed him at the airport. And I was like, whatever you do, don't sign in the next 3 hours because I'm flying to Disney. Like there was real concern that it could be any day now.
Supposed to be. Did you cut out? Did he think you said 3 months? See, this is where it might have happened.
It's been over 2 months later. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like we're any closer to an announcement than we were that day. And it's, I think you've got the Tigers are in for 6 years. They're in for 6 years. Then you've got the Cubs for 5, call it. Maybe they're trying to get to 5 so he can just be like, all right, fine, I'll take it. I don't know, like how long is this going to fucking drag out for? I don't know. And people are obviously sick of us talking about it. I don't want to talk about the Bregman sweepstakes anymore. I'm more interested in talking about what will happen for the Red Sox. Bregman does not factor into those plans as far as I'm concerned. And how do we feel about any potential scenario that could play out? Like, are we disappointed if Nolan just stays with the Cardinals and Bregman signs with the Cubs tomorrow and the Cubs have like their general manager sits down and says, we're keeping Nolan. Like he's off the trade block. How do we feel if that's the scenario?
I'm not personally overly upset. I still think you sit here and you're like, damn, the balancing of the lineup, but Nolan Arenado doesn't hit lefties. It was a 79 weighted runs created plus last year against lefties. For 2 years in a row, he has sucked against lefties. And this was a guy who used to mash them. Say what you want. I know people throw that out about Bregman. He was a league average hitter against lefties. That is an improvement. So the balancing of the lineup, it's nice that he bats righty, but he's really not the lefty killer that Tyler O'Neill was. You're just hoping he's someone who can succeed at Fenway Park because he has the kind of swing made for it, and your lineup isn't built that way right now. But say what you will here, Masataka Yoshida, if you're taking him out of the lineup every day, Yoshida's a better hitter than Nolan Arenado at this point. But if we're being real, Justin Turner, who was connected to the Red Sox, has been a better hitter than Nolan Arenado for 2 years in a row. If we're being
real, the appeal of bringing in a Bregman or an Arenado is more the defense.
And that's where you're weighing it out here.
Yeah, like think about how bad the Red Sox infield defense was last year. They lead the league in unearned runs. I mean, yes, I get all those points about hitting lefties. Yes, you need balance in your lineup. Yes, they need some right-handed hitters. And if he's a right-handed hitter that's not going to help you against lefties, then those are going to be some long afternoons at the ballpark when you've got a lefty on the mound for 6-7 innings. I get all that. But over the course of 162, what will impact your season more? A guy that can hit lefties or a platinum glove defender at a premier defensive position in your infield that's been fucking horrendous for several years now. Like, I think he impacts you in a way that you need to be impacted. You still need a guy that can hit. You still need a right-handed bat. Like, it's like you bring in the right-handed bat, you still need the right-handed bat.
Arenado will be your bat at that point. But my other thing would be, and it's fair to say this with Trevor Story, yeah, he needs to be on the field to justify it. The reason your infield collapsed last year was because you didn't have Trevor Story. If Trevor Story plays 140 games, your infield is going to be fine. I don't think you're going to be the greatest infield. You'll be mediocre to a little bit below average with, I think, the best defensive outfield in baseball.
I'm just at the point where Kristian Campbell is my right-handed bat. Like, you did not have him last year. Let's just say you're going to have him this year. Maybe there's a little bit of a learning curve, but maybe there's not. Like, when has there ever been a learning curve for Kristian Campbell at any level? There hasn't been. He's just that fucking good. I'm not trying to put any pressure on the kid. I'm not saying that my expectations are that he comes in day one and just sets the world on fire. But if he did do that, would that surprise me? No. So maybe he's your right-handed bat. And then Nolan is just your slightly above league average bat that can play Gold Glove defense at a position that you haven't had good defense at since fucking Bill Miller was here.
I did feel like when Alex Cora talked about Devers, he's down with the family right now, but he had been in Fort Myers since the middle of January. That was the softest stance we've heard from him in terms of conversations he's had with Ref. He's like, we've talked about everything, what works best for the roster, flexibility, all that. To me, that was like, hey, we've kind of sat there. He knows, like, it's not just the chatter that's out there. We've talked about it. It's on the table right now. Whether he's happy or not about that, I think we've talked about the social media stories, him liking our posts. Clearly, he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder on it overall. But if you add Nolan Arenado, I don't want Rafael Devers touching third more than 10 times a year. There's no reason for him because Arenado's value comes from him playing defense. That's what he's going to kind of provide for you at that point.
I mean, if it's not more than 10 times a year, he might as well just be the full-time DH at that point. What's up?
But that's where you're getting weird because you have another weird roster crunch you're going to have to figure out unless you're going to IL Yoshida and say, hey, we'll push this down a little bit and say you can't throw, but they're hyping up his body. He's swinging hard as fuck in the cages. Like, there needs to be another move that still comes here because your outfield is full. And the way they talk about Ceddanne Rafaela, they want him playing center field every day.
Jerry, you mentioned how we would feel if Arenado doesn't come here. I've kind of mentally, and this is probably a mistake, by the way, over the last month, I've kind of mentally accepted that I think one of them was going to be here, that Bregman or Arenado was going to end up on the Red Sox. So from that standpoint, I would be disappointed because you're already trying to move the pieces around in your head. And then we've talked about the veteran leadership part of it too, that comes along with the defense for either of those guys. Of course, it comes down to whatever the financials are going to be, but I figured they were going to figure that out. And so the fact that they haven't yet, and we're getting all the pictures and videos of guys showing up to spring training in Fort Myers, it's a little bit worrisome because you mentioned Kristian Campbell, and then you kind of think, wait, they're probably okay with that. When Breslow's saying he thinks they're already a playoff team, he's probably factoring in that Kristian Campbell's going to be a huge part of that and take a bigger jump than maybe a lot of fans would expect. And I'm a little concerned that you would expect that much from Campbell in his first year with the Red Sox. Of course, we've seen it at other levels when he starts, but I've accepted that I think Bregman or Arenado are going to be here. And if you don't get one of those guys, mentally, it would be a step back. And then defensively, you're just not much better at all than you were last year.
I'm in fucking Deluluville, where in my mind, 2025, Roman Anthony is going to come up and be nasty, and Kristian Campbell is going to come up and be nasty, and Marcelo Meyer factors in somewhere down the line and he is great, and they just click and everything's great, and no one expects the Sox to be any good, but just wouldn't it be nice if there was just 1 year where everything went right? Like 2018, everything went right. So I can't sit here and say we've never experienced that before. Everything went right in 2018, minus Chris Sale kind of got hurt at the end there, but it really didn't matter at all.
No, they didn't even need him.
No. Yeah, he was just a glorified left-handed reliever at that point.
Hey, you want to close this thing out? Yeah, sure. The pictures will be sick. Let's do it.
Yeah. But that's I don't know. That's just my delusional ass hope is that whether Nolan gets here, whether Bregman comes here, whether neither of them come here, that it's just, I'm ready to turn the page. Like, cause I've made this point so many times that 2022 through 2024 kind of just felt like one long season. It's like watching a TV show with the same characters. Like there's breaks in between seasons, sure, but like it's almost like I binged season 1 through season 3, and in my brain I can't tell the difference between season 2 and season 3. It's just it was very similar to me, with the cast, with the story injury, with just like everything. It was just it is what it is. I'm ready to have season 4 introduce an entirely new cast, and everyone loves these characters, and it makes the show infinitely better. That's my hope.
For that stretch of 22 to 24, I know we were apart, but it sucked so much that I do clump it together as well as just a long hangover. Mm-hmm. Honestly, if this is a playoff team and we all get to ride that wave, and to your point, if they surprise some folks and you have Campbell come up and Anthony come up and they're mashing at Fenway, and all of a sudden it's like you get the, I was going to say baseball tonight. You don't really have baseball tonight anymore, but you flip over to MLB Network, like, Red Sox off to a good start. That would give me so much life. I hate how much life that would give me, because we put so much into this that if they could just get to the point by, I don't know, late May or like early June, that they're in playoff position and you've had a lot of positive signs so far and things are clicking and the guys are having fun. That's all we're asking for. We're not, obviously we want the playoffs, but at least that would, if you give us that on the path to the playoffs, I'd be so happy, and that's all we're really asking for.
Like if you just looked first up one day, if you just looked up one day and the Red Sox were 21-10, and you're
let's
just
already set. We always do this every year. Let's set the record. Like, what's the record we're going for in the first 30 this year?
Jared, you did this the first year, Name Redacted, and you put out the craziest fucking record prediction of all time.
Well, I mean, first of all, 2021 was 17-10, and then they got to 7. I said they get to 17-10, they're a playoff team. Yeah, Cora was like, "Yeah, man, we get to 17-10, we're a playoff team." You know the form, you know the sauce.
You heard the guys say it, section 10, and we heard them, so we did 17-10. Next question.
Let me see if I can find that. I know I have it.
It's such a good clip. It's so good.
2021.
Well, we did the whole like live stream and everything. People were going nuts, and then Cora said in the post game, "I'm like, this isn't real life."
You guys. Oh, we knew.
Yeah, you guys knew what we were doing. We knew what we were doing. 17-10. It's like the easiest thing.
Okay, boom. Yeah.
Okay, next question. Continue.
You guys finished April with a 17-10 record, which, as of right now, is the most wins in the majors. I guess how pleased are you with just how this first month has been?
I know social media is going nuts, right? Jerry's going nuts for that with his prediction. So, 17 wins are 17 wins. And then you do that consistently over the course of the season. You win 17 games a month, you put yourself in the conversation, right? And
it's just like, all you got to do is win 17 games. You go 17-10. Like, we know what that means. The people know what that means. Okay, boom, we're going to the playoffs. And then they did. That team should have won the World Series. But yeah, I think 17-10 was 21. 22 was June 28th, which was, it just worked in the opposite direction.
The worst day of my life. Like one of the worst days ever.
That was a bad day for a lot of people.
I've blacked that out. I honestly, until you just said that, I forgot that even happened.
Yeah, that was bad.
All right, let's keep it moving. Next
that was
thing.
Bad.
Yeah.
That was real bad for everybody. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, I feel like even in 2019, they were so bad. I thought they were going to get booed off the field at the ring ceremony. Like, we just don't have good Aprils. Even good teams just don't have good starts. And it would just be nice to have an easy April where you come in, you play kind of like 600 ball, maybe better, to get a nice head start. And you don't even have to keep up that pace. Just kind of coast on it, so that once you get into mid-May, June, that's when we start talking like, oh, they only have to play 520 ball the rest of the way to win 90 games. You win 90 games and you get in the playoffs. Like, that's where I want to be. Just give me a nice start to the season with some surprises. Like, I don't think, where are you guys at on, I don't think it's going to be Roman Anthony or Marcel Meyer, but where are you guys at on one of the Red Sox top prospects making the team on opening day, like right out of camp?
Kristian Campbell, I feel like I'm ready to almost bet my life on it, even though they played it down a little bit. But hearing that Alex Cora and him went on like their own little walk, and it was a pretty lengthy walk around the complex, just them two talking, felt like to me, and Campbell's been down there for a long time, they were setting the stage like, hey, you know what's out here for you this camp? If you can go do it, it's going to make the conversation pretty easily.
Yeah.
But Roman Anthony, it's hard to fit him in the outfield right now. And if they keep saying Ceddanne Raphael is going to play every day in center field, how are you going to do it? Unless there's a trade coming where Willie Abreu is getting flipped.
You kind of got cooked by Raphael's brother, huh?
Fucking spare me. No offense. Like he acted like I wrote something mean. Like I said the guy sucked at baseball or something. I'm like, oh no, I just think he's, the perfect kind of super utility player. I didn't say he was a garbage ass Bobby Delbick type player. Did not say anything like that.
Whoa, come on.
That's crazy.
Tyler, don't act surprised that that's a suspension.
The guy's not even in the organization anymore. He doesn't need to hear you slander his name. And certainly, we don't have a ton of rules on this show, but there is one rule that I will always abide by, and there's no Bobby Dalbec slander on this podcast. No need to loop him into your slander of Ceddanne Raphael and his entire family. There's no need to do that. Coley, are you alive? What's going on?
What do you mean?
You haven't said a word in like 20 minutes. What's going on?
I go to talk and T just starts screaming. So
right,
I'm sorry.
I'll shut up.
Let Coley cook.
What the fuck am I supposed to do?
I think if you talk, Coley, you'll save Tyler from himself, because he was about to just slander the Raphael dynasty.
He's got 2 weeks of stuff too, because he missed last show.
Yeah,
so now
he
he's got
did
to
miss
get
last
two
week.
episodes
Yeah,
worth into one. I get it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Guy won't. He's on the Yazzie plan.
Campbell talked to Cora for a while.
Done yapping.
Yeah, they took a walk. Last time Cora spent one-on-one time with someone that was Yoshida, and they went to dinner, and we never saw him again. So that's not great. I've been pretty focused on this. If they're both not on the opening day roster, it's malpractice, and people should lose their jobs.
Both is in Roman Anthony as well.
Yeah, Mario's not close.
Steve?
Pivetta to the Padres.
Wow, we got our pick!
Look at
We
that.
got our pick! We got the pick, baby. We got the pick. Nick Pivetta heading on down to San Diego. We got the pick, baby. Love that.
4 years, $55 million. A couple of opt-outs.
Bang.
Now this is the part
boom.
where the Red Sox trade for Dylan Cease.
Yeah, I'd love that.
They seem like they want him, right?
They should, especially if it's just like, hey, we don't want the Orioles to get him. But yeah, Cease would be our best pitcher today.
Well, Nick Pivetta is going to turn into like a really good number 3 now.
Definitely fuck.
Over there.
I'm
I'm happy we got the comp pick. So I think 73rd overall.
I was sweating that they were just going to be like, all right, fine, come back.
There was a chance he would have just waited until the draft was over. Yeah, and then they just don't get the pick. But I'm happy for Nick Pivetta.
That's what was going to happen.
I know this is going to be about the pick, but that's cool for Nick. He gets to go to San Diego, fun place, and they actually spent a little bit of money. They didn't do much this offseason, if anything. Did they do anything? The Padres? Is this their move? Their big move is getting
This is
Nick
their first
Pivetta?
free agent signee. Am I wrong?
No, I think that's right.
I mean, they've been super busy with legal stuff.
What is that face? I can't be happy for Nick? What is that? What are you doing?
Is San Diego closer to where he grew up than Toronto? It must be.
It has to be.
Has to be. Yeah,
It's a
definitely.
local kid.
Yeah, he's going back home, Jared. What's wrong with that? Come on. Have a little respect.
West Coast guy.
Bobby Dalbec.
I'm happy for him.
You don't like Pivetta at all. I feel like you really didn't like him. Anytime we talk about him, you don't like talking about him.
I just don't like.
It was like the lionization of him.
I didn't like the pouty act after they moved him to the bullpen. He was like, "I'm a starter. I've always been a starter. I'm going to be a starter."
He
even
blocked
tomorrow.
me after
It's
my
like,
rant.
That was a blemish.
He.
I mean, he's kind of a dick. I'm not saying he's not a dick. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick.
There's been talk that he wasn't always the easiest on some of the younger players that were also coming through during his tenure here. That was part of it.
Yeah, Casas. Yeah. Let's just slander him on the way out.
I gave him a standing ovation.
Thanks for the pick. Nick Pavetta's a clown. No, I liked Nick Pivetta.
He was also one of the guys that was like smashing the microphones for Netflix whenever like they mic'd him up, and then he didn't have a good game. Anyways,
no, trust me. No, he didn't. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
I'm glad he gets to go to San Diego.
I'm glad he gets to go to San Diego.
He did some stuff here that wasn't great.
It wasn't great, but
just wasn't awesome.
Yeah, wasn't awesome. But
he took that ball, Jared. He took that ball every fifth
2021
day.
Playoffs. That 2021
I think in the last
playoffs.
5 years for the Red Sox, in terms of their starters, he's got 200 more innings pitched than anyone else. So,
yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I know you love that. He posts.
He was there. So I mean, I'm happy. Happy he gets to go home.
In terms of his like tenure with the Red Sox, he was there. Like he was present.
Oh, couldn't have been.
Is he the player who played for the Red Sox the longest in your lifetime that you feel the most indifferent towards?
Ellsbury.
Good question.
Interesting.
Ellsbury, really?
Yeah,
did Ellsbury play longer? Pivetta might have been longer.
Nah, 20 to 24. Ellsbury was 07 to
Ellsbury,
13.
Should be another 2 years.
Was it 13? I thought it was 12.
No, he was on the World Series team.
Yeah, he was on the World Series.
Yeah, true. Good point. Good point by you.
Good point, kid. Led the majors in steals that year. 2013.
7 seasons versus 5.
I did not like Ellsbury though. I just felt indifferent.
No, indifference.
Yeah,
indifference.
I don't feel indifferent towards Pivetta though. I lean towards like he rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, I largely just never cared. He was there.
Yeah,
now he's not.
Like I never saw him laugh or like smile.
No.
He wasn't very endearing. That's the thing.
No, I mean, of course, he had the playoff moment in 21. That's now 4 years ago. So if you're pointing back to something from the 2021 season and the guy's pitched a ton since then, that's probably not a great sign. But no, I don't think he ever really made much of a connection with the fan base, maybe not his teammates. But again, I love Nicky Smooches. I was a fan of Nicky Smooches, and I'm happy he gets to go to San Diego. That's all I'm saying. This is not a suspension.
You're about to get the suspension I got a few months ago.
Him? You love him.
I loved I loved his aggressive. I liked him. I'll bring it back. I'll rescind that. I liked him.
Fine.
I liked him.
You didn't love him.
No, I liked him.
I think you could just acknowledge you tip your cap to a guy who was here for 5 years.
No.
That's it.
That's a good question. Did anyone buy a Nick Pivetta jersey? This guy started more games than anybody the last 5 years. I haven't seen one Pivetta jersey.
Yeah, like you would at least see like a Rick Porcello jersey.
Oh, a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah. What, Tyler? You're going to besmirch Rick Porcello?
Can we respect the Cy Young Award winner here?
It is hard to compare those guys. He did get a Cy Young.
He did, but like he didn't.
Don't start that. Hey, don't do that.
Hey,
these are the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, you're on thin ice. You're on thin ice, pal.
That's Rick Porcello.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Rick Porcello did not get a single first place vote the year that he won the Cy Young.
He didn't get one?
You're right.
I don't think so. I think he won with like the most second place votes. He beat out Verlander, who definitely deserved to win.
Kate Upton was so pissed. I mean, she had a
oh
vote,
my
obviously.
God, yeah. Scathing article on, I believe it was SI at the time.
Fun fact, Nick Pivetta in a Red Sox uniform had a lower ERA than Rick Porcello.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're largely the same pitcher.
Yeah, but like, I think Rick's highs were higher and his lows were lower. His 2015 was fucking horrendous. Oof. His 2016 was outstanding. His 2018, 19 was horrendous. His 18 was very good. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just happy we got the pick.
Do you think
they're going to end up not
entices
signing anyone who had one attached?
That's what I mean. Do you think that entices them to up the offer to Bregman now that they have the pick in hand?
Ooh, that's a good point, but no.
Good point, kid.
No, it's definitely no.
That's a good point. No.
If I saw T tweeting about this, and I said this to Jared off air. If they sign Justin Turner, I'm going to kill myself in front of an audience.
But you know what I said to you, Coley, was that report coming out 3 days ago? Like it just goes to show you how slow some of the reporters are, because like I heard that in December.
Hmm.
So that could be that they just found out that they had contacted Justin Turner 2 months ago, or that I heard that he reached out to Justin Turner. It's like, okay, but it's very possible that conversation took place 2 months ago and never materialized or went anywhere from there. I'm not saying that like it's not, they didn't keep the door open for the conversation. I can't say that yes or no, but them talking to Turner is not new news.
No, I think people are starting to do the math that we were just starting to do before T got suspended. If they don't get Bregman, which they won't, and if they don't get Arenado for whatever reason, I think Breslow's kind of bound to acquiring a right-handed bat no matter what, no, even if it doesn't make any sense in the world, which that it wouldn't make any sense in the world to sign Justin Turner. Like none.
No. I love Turner though, but
he seems like a great guy. My blood would be on his hands.
His
another guy.
Coley's going to kill him if they sign him.
Another guy that was dying to play in Boston. The Red Sox were like, fuck off. The Red Sox are like, what's the deal with everyone wanting to play for us? Like, fucking leave us alone.
Yeah. Don't you see,
much?
like, we're not going to sign you guys? Like,
yeah.
Shut up.
Like, I don't like how desperate you guys are.
You'd essentially try to platoon him with Yoshida, I guess, because I won't put anything past Alex Cora at this point. If he was willing to, platoon Triston Casas for Danny Jansen and Connor Wong, who the fuck knows what he'll do next?
Talk about a horrible idea. Just all of it.
Listen.
All of it. All of it. A great idea, though, is drinking Blue Moon. Yeah, it's one of the best ideas, actually. Because even if you love beer, Steve, there are some moments where you want to enjoy a non-alcoholic drink. Celebrate those times with Blue Moon's non-alcoholic Belgian white, Belgian-style wheat brew. Say that.
Belgian white, Belgian-style wheat brew.
Yeah. It's for when you want to drink non-alcoholic versions of your favorite beer. Steve came... Actually, you know what? You know who I talked to recently, Steve?
Who did you talk to?
Guess.
What was that face? Who the hell qualifies for that reaction?
I think you know.
Who, Neff?
No. T?
Dan
Perrault.
You talked to Dan Perrault. Dan
Perrault, who was very appreciative for the shout out for his new project that's coming out.
Mm-hmm. The Residence, March 20th.
The Residence, March 20th on Netflix, and he's starring in it. And
The lead.
I said 28th, and I said, you have to come to one of these wrestling watch parties with Steve. And he said, you know what? I think I'm going to be out that way in April. And I said, well, you know what's in April, Steve?
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania. So if we can get Dan Perrault
oh god
for WrestleMania, and we're just all sucking down some Blue Moon non-alcoholic Belgian style wheat brews. All of us.
That sounds like fun. Hey, Papagenos too. Come on.
Papagenos, all of us.
Call up
Inspired
Sally.
by the beer you already love and available year-round, a Belgian white, Belgian-style wheat brew that tastes like drinking, even if it's not. Crafted with Valencia orange peel and coriander, it tastes balanced and refreshing. Nothing compares to the great taste of a Blue Moon non-alcoholic Belgian white, Belgian-style wheat brew. Blue Moon made brighter. Get Blue Moon non-alcoholic Belgian white, Belgian-style wheat brew delivered by visiting get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared for delivery options. That is get.bluemoonbeer.com/Jared. Blue Moon made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Non-alcoholic malt beverage, contains less than 0.5% alcohol per volume.
Suck one.
And suck one. Oh man, if Dan Perrault came for Mania, brother,
Forget it.
woo,
Oh, brother.
woo.
Be
The
incredible.
Blue Moons are flowing. The Sox would be playing that day, both days. It's as you know, Steve, WrestleMania is 2 nights, so it's Saturday, Sunday. So we would get some Sox and some Mania and some Sox. Actually, we would probably, I don't know what we would do because I forget what we've done because WrestleMania ends. Did we do like Monday morning or something? Because
Probably.
we would be podcasting on a Sunday, but it's like we've got Mania. So like, what do we? I don't know.
We also got to factor in, and everybody's sending the screenshot of Dan's Wikipedia. Like, that's not edited. Those are accurate, the stats that they have on there for the consecutive Perrault of the Week awards he keeps winning. I wish it was edited. I wish it was fake. But with Dan being there in April, you got to factor in that he's already a huge deal, with this audience.
Yeah.
He's the lead on a Netflix show the month
Right.
before. He's going to be global at that point,
Yep.
coming to your house.
Yep. And Dan and I, I'm going to have him sit next to me, Steve, instead of you.
Now, there's a special bond. I don't have that bond with you. There's a special bond you guys have. I saw you guys just look at each other Woo Sox night,
Mhm.
and I was like, yeah, that's not my relationship with Jared. Like, you're at this level that I've done, I
Or
don't know.
Dan.
I thought that's what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah.
Jesus. What's that?
I thought
Or
you were going to say
Dan.
Dan.
What did I miss? What did you say?
You don't have that relationship with him either. It's,
I think I do, but it's not on that level. Yeah,
not
no, I
like
guess I
that.
don't.
Like
No,
that.
it's just
no, I
different.
don't have-
It's not a
it's
level thing.
different.
It's just
Yeah, it's not
different.
about
Yeah.
like good or bad. It's just a different level. It's like
Yeah.
I've only done 500 shows with Jared, but that's
Yeah.
not enough. Like
Yeah.
the bond he has
No.
with Dan is just a different kind of bond.
Yeah. So I want to sit next to Dan for WrestleMania, and we can talk about how we're both at that point, because this will be after April 8th. Netflix
Both going to be
stars.
Netflix stars.
We're
Yeah,
both going to be
it's
Netflix
true.
stars by that point.
The Flicks fellas.
Yep. The trailer came out for the Red Sox Netflix doc, which is dropping on April 8th. And it's really just Triston Casas having a fucking mental breakdown.
He's just flipping out. Are we
Triston
surprised
Casas-
by the way that's what they chose? I'm like, this is the clip. There's nothing else. It's just him being like, fuck Tristan, what the hell? And
Yeah, Jesus
Coming
Christ,
to
God
Netflix.
damn it.
I am so bad.
Yeah,
April
grip.
8th.
Yeah. He grounded out to second base in like a May 17th game against the Twins and transformed into a murderous rage. And that is the trailer for the Netflix doc, which, unbeknownst to me, I mean, because I was not at the Fenway Winter Fiasco for Frenzy, Section 10 clips are used throughout the series. I've also recently learned that clips from 98.5, the fucking Sports Hub, will be used during this production because I had to sign off on some of the things that I said with Tony Maserati as well. So I'm very excited to see. Just like, I don't know what, like I kind of like I've like skimmed through some of the things that are being used from the show, but I hope, it's just if they're using Section 10 clips throughout the series, that they just throw in like a random like dildo burgers. They're just like, all right, Red Sox dropped to 5 games under 500. It's like, oh, welcome to Dildo Burgers. You pull up and get your butt plug nuggets. Like I would love. And so I was rewatching the clip today, the best of episode. Dildo burgers almost didn't even happen. Dildo burgers, like I said it, and then Coley started talking about StatCast, and Tyler was feeling whatever Coley was saying. Like they were ready to just riff on this exit velocity talk. And then I saw Steve laughing.
You were
and-
both just quietly laughing to yourselves. I was waiting for that to cease.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Didn't
I couldn't
happen.
stop giggling. I was just
Yeah.
giggling, man.
We
I
were
was like,
very
man.
clear. If Steve didn't giggle, we don't get dildo burgers. We don't
No,
get
I
it.
agree.
Yeah.
No.
But I am excited to see what makes the cut for the Netflix series. I think they interviewed a lot of people for it, and you never know, if you sit down and talk for 2 hours, they may use 3 seconds. They may use none of it. So I have no clue what's making it in. I will say, for a season that ended in a 500 fashion, I am intrigued to see, the behind the scenes stuff. I think I want to see the Triston Casas stuff and the Jaron Duran stuff. I don't know, like, what else do we really care about? Because correct me if I'm wrong, they weren't there in Colorado for the fight. They weren't
Weren't
there.
they
for
not
that?
there for a lot of stuff? Didn't
No,
they take like a month
3-month
and a half?
vacation.
Yeah, they took the
Yeah.
second half of the season. That's probably just us. I bet it's just
Yeah.
Section 10 for the second half of this documentary, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know, but
They
Yeah, I'm
probably
excited to
interviewed
just
the
see.
car that ran over Cam Boozer. They probably got his
Hmm.
Mhm.
take.
Yep.
That's about it.
is Cam Boozer got traded, right?
Oh yeah.
Yo, big
For
time,
who?
yeah.
Some guy like 20th round pick.
He was a DSL guy.
I was like,
I
T,
don't
you
wanna-
got to know
I'm gonna
this. Come
fuck
on.
his name up when I say it. It's Yoker.
Fajardo.
Yoker Fajardo.
Fajardo.
Yeah.
Hmm. How do you get that for Fajardo? He should feel
Some
good about
actually,
Yeah,
I remember
Big
looking at
yoink.
the DSL numbers. They're intriguing.
Oh
that.
yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I was looking at him last night, and
I couldn't sleep, and I was like, let's look at those Fajardo numbers. Let's just bring those back up. What was his FIP in the 7th?
It was actually fire. Hold on.
What was his FIP, T?
I'll get it. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Look up the FIP. Give me the Fajardo FIP.
The Fajardo FIP.
Yeah.
Boom. 250 FIP down
Boom.
the DSL last year.
Wow.
Striking out 11 per 9, walking 1.4 per 9.
Boom sauce.
Yep. There he is.
There you go. There you go.
Those Fajardo numbers go crazy.
Real quick on the Triston stuff for the Netflix doc.
Mhm.
We talk about Triston on this program a lot. I
Yeah.
think we're mainly pro Triston. I think sometimes we bring some things up about him where we're like,
I think we're very pro Triston, but we're not critical of him. I think we're more.
we're
think,
like honest about him. I would say.
Yeah. I was gonna say objective, but honest works as well. Yeah.
Yeah. T hates him, but we look past that.
Oh my God.
Seeing that clip. I mean, I had a lot of thoughts. First off, and we kind of already mentioned this, but it's surprising that you do a trailer, your first trailer, for this series that people have been waiting a whole season, and it's just that's it. Like it's just Triston being like, "You suck, Triston," and then it's like April
Do you want me
8th
to
on
play it?
Netflix. Yeah, play it.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it.
Yeah.
For anyone that missed it, I don't think you're missing much from a visual perspective. It's really just
the audio sums it up.
Yeah. Here we go.
What's up, Will? How we doing? Nice to see you.
I dedicated my life to this game. It's tough when you go up there because you're vulnerable. You can do everything right and still have a bad result.
Damn it, man. What am I doing out there, man? What the man? What am I doing, man? Damn it, Triston. Get a grip, kid.
Silver ground out.
Damn, he can't beat me with anything. He's throwing 90 miles an hour, man. Get a swing off. Pathetic.
It's a bad feeling when you feel like you're the reason why you're losing.
But, you know, the life away from the field can't be affected by the results on it.
April 8th. All right. So the first thing I want to say, because I saw when this clip came out, people that listened to last week's episode say they got to revisit that conversation where they said that Triston Casas can't be the leader of this team. Like, look how bad he wants to win. You don't, and again, I say this as a person that likes Triston Casas. If my leader is having a fucking mental breakdown because of a ground out, and if you look at the clip, the people in the crowd, the umpire, they're all wearing winter jackets. So this is an April game.
Or early season, yeah. It's before you get hurt.
Like, if you can't keep your shit together, then
It is.
that's not keeping your shit. He's
not melting down out there. Come on.
Brother.
Jerry Duran breaking shit in the locker room in the clubhouse, that's melting down.
And I have not said that like he's the perfect fit to be a leader either.
But him being mad at himself and saying I need to be better than that, okay, he's not losing his mind. He's taking
I'm not
grounders,
saying
but
it's a bad thing.
But the TV isn't
I'm not
even
saying
like,
that's a bad thing.
but
But
I
you
would just wouldn't
can't-
use that as a reason he can't be a leader of the
You
team.
can't, if you're going to be the leader, you can't have a quote unquote bad at bat and take it with you into the field.
I watched David
Because then
Ortiz
everyone
smash
else,
a fucking telephone box.
all the younger guys, they see that and they're like, oh, all right, I can.
He is the younger guy.
Right.
But that,
like
there's a
Pedroia
layer
did that
to
his
it
whole
now.
career. Pedroia absolutely did that every time he grounded out.
I don't, Jerry, real quick. I'll say
Yeah.
I brought this up not to do the leader thing again. It's more
Yeah.
that when it comes to Triston, I think he's always super aware of the attention and the eyes on him. And if there's a camera on him, if he's mic'd up, like he's very aware of what's going on, almost too much. And even seeing that clip, I'm thinking like, this almost feels a little performative and kind of like a reality show. I understand it's Netflix, and I've seen some of the other player docs that Netflix does. And I will say, and Devontae Adams is a great example. I watched I think it's just called Wide Receiver or whatever, the one that Peyton Manning did. And I came out of it thinking like Devontae Adams kind of sucks. Like this guy's like a diva, and he was trying to make everything like not about him, but it was about him. And I'm not saying that about Triston. I just think people, obviously, for a player on this team, if they're going to have strong opinions on, Triston's like one of the lead guys that falls into that category. And I think this is going to divide that fan base, the Triston, fan support completely one way or the other. If you don't like him, I think you're going to watch this doc and like not like him even more. You're going to hate him.
I think he's going to get more
like him,
fan support out of this.
No, I think the people that love him, I think will be like, this is exactly why I love him. Like he cares so much. I'm sure he does some funny, quirky stuff in this too, especially when he's hurt and has more time in front of the cameras. But yeah, that's probably one of my biggest takeaways is that he knows when he's mic'd up. He knows when the camera's on him. He kind of hypes it up a little bit. He turns it up a notch, but that's Triston being Triston. I'm just very interested to see how much they use him because I can imagine they leaned on him a lot because you're not going to get a ton from some of these other guys.
Correct. I think him and Durant are the stars of this thing.
Yeah.
I do think for Casas as a whole, though, and I'm not saying you guys are saying this, but a common narrative because people see him doing yoga is that he's kind of aloof and doesn't care. And he's like, oh, whatever, like baseball is baseball. I'm going to be Triston Casas and like I'm going to be weird and I'm going to kind of do whatever I want. I'm going to rub certain veterans the wrong way, as we had mentioned earlier. I think for Triston Casas, if you've paid attention to the journey, he's baseball obsessed. He lives and breathes this game in almost a sickening way. And
I don't think anyone disagrees with that.
No, I think there's a large portion of people that crap on who he is the guy and don't think he's that way.
They question whether or not he's obsessed with baseball?
Yes. They think he's just more about being performative and joking, and I don't view that. I think Triston
it's just
Casas,
both at the same time.
I think the mic'd up shit, I think he's doing that same thing, whether the mic's not on or not, because he is obsessed with being this great player. He always has held himself to that standard. It's why he didn't sign that extension when the Red Sox initially offered it. It's the same guy who at the Olympics, when he was the leader of that Olympic team, he went there and won silver.
Didn't wear the silver medal, yeah.
He wouldn't wear it because he's that kind of competitor. He's that serious about doing it. Like, that's more of the energy the Red Sox need than the opposite right now. That kind of sick, obsessed way of going about it. That's the Triston Casas I like, and I want more of it.
Sure. I also like, I don't see the issue in calling him quirky, but that's not meant to be an insult. It's just descriptive of his personality. He's quirky.
Mm-hmm. You saying it versus other people saying it definitely have different meanings, though.
I guess, but I think it's just because, I mean, I've followed him since they drafted him. Like we had like an emotional attachment to the guy because of the interview that he did on Section 10 when he got drafted. I'm like, this guy's different. Okay, like I'm a fan. And then
how crazy.
We've had
7 years of him. We've had 7 years of Casas in terms of how long we've been hearing stuff and
I don't know that we
level.
knew. Yeah, like I don't think we knew like how quirky. Like I think it was a very unconventional interview when he got drafted. And then from there it was more just he's a guy. It's not just like a first round bust. Like this guy's a guy. And then when he was on Team USA, following those highlights, like that was probably when he was on Team USA. That was probably the first time I really got to watch him play baseball because there were so many clips coming out and he was hitting the shit out of the ball. And I was like, okay, so now you can see he wants to win and that he can play when there's high stakes like that. Those are checking boxes for me. And then I think when he got closer to and eventually at the big league level, that's when more of the quirky stuff came to play. But I never looked at it as a detriment. I never looked at it as this is not a good thing or this doesn't play at this level. I think it was more just what I said last week. You fit a role. Like there's so many roles on a big league team that are all ingredients to championship chemistry. You need the guy that cares so much, like it's life and death to him if you win or lose, because you're definitely going to have guys that are super talented, very good baseball players that really don't give a fuck if you win or lose. They're kind of just, it's a job. They show up, they go 0 for 4, it's whatever. They go 3 for 4. Hey, great day at the office, but I'm going to go home to my wife and kids. Then you have the guys like Triston Casas where you ground out in April and he's sitting there and agonizing in the dugout. Like you need the guys that care that much too, no doubt. It's just he's a different cat. But that doesn't have to be a negative. I never understood why it was perceived as a negative that he's just a different breed.
I don't know if it's perceived as, I mean, everyone has a different opinion of Triston Casas. So like anytime we talk about him on the show, it's hard to be like, and people think, because no one, I feel like you ask 10 Red Sox fans, you're going to get 10 different opinions on how they view Triston Casas. So yeah. I'm just interested to see how this whole doc portrays him and how he comes across. because not only does it sound like he's in this a lot, but it would make sense why he's in this a lot and why they probably gravitated towards him, because he probably gave him stuff out of the gate. And they're like, okay, in their meetings, they're like, let's target this guy. This guy's going to give us some really good stuff. And I bet they realized pretty early on that there weren't a ton of guys that would give them some really good stuff, looking at this roster and the lack of like personalities and, outgoing characters that the Red Sox have. So
I'm going to give you a crazy name, Steve.
Yeah. What do you got?
I'm going to give you a crazy name right now.
That was in this a decent amount? Is that what you're saying?
No, that like to draw comparison.
Yeah.
Pedro Martinez. And T.E., you didn't grow up in the Pedro era. But in between the lines, the fiercest competitor that you're ever going to come across. When it wasn't his start day, the goofiest fuck in the league. Like, goofy as fuck. He like, you would think like Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, like those guys are dogs. Like, they are not fucking around. They're all business all the time, even when it's not their start day. Josh Beckett, those guys, bulldogs. Pedro, he was dicking around like the team clown on the days that he wasn't starting, and then when he was pitching, he was an absolute dog, like the fiercest competitor. He was scary on the mound. Casas like has that aspect where it's like, yeah, you put the mic on him and he's goofy and he's goofing around, but you just see that trailer and it's like, you're gonna tell me that guy doesn't care? Or remember when everyone made fun of him in Tampa for that walk and he screamed and he threw his bat. So I think ultimately two things will change people's opinion of Casas. Number one, the Netflix doc. I think when you get inside the inner psyche of Casas and what makes him tick, you'd be like, all right, maybe he's a little quirky, but like, yeah, like I fuck with this guy. Like, he wants to win. He cares. He's got that Boston dirt dog mentality. The other thing that's going to make people's opinions change is a playoff run, because there's no time to be quirky or whatever. Like, you've got to just lock in and be a beast in October. And if he has one shot at that and just goes off and he's, hits a home run and he's animated, or he's got a game tying double in the 8th inning and he slides into second base and he's screaming back at his dugout, fans are going to be like, I was wrong. I was wrong about Casas. Like, this guy's the fucking man. And I don't think that many people need to be convinced. Like, it may be a 50-50, or even I think that there's people that are on the fence where it's like, I don't know what to make of this guy. The people that are on the fence, I believe, will be converted into Casas fans with one playoff run.
The people who have turned Casas into this person that is simply about him or whatever, it's often a reflection of they don't like the nail polish. That bothered him. The yoga stuff, the social media stuff. The truth is, Triston Casas, the reason we saw so much of the quirkiness is because he was hurt last year. That's why he was being handed the mic and sitting around in the dugout for a half inning and yapping. It's because he wasn't playing. Like, you talk Pedro Martinez or these other guys. Yeah, they had 4 days off in between. Triston Casas is an everyday player. He's going to bring that, crazy, dedicated, just dirt dog mindset on a regular basis. Like, I remember reading that Jen McCaffrey story and it was like, this is the last guy at Fenway Park every single night. He's watching Jim Thome, his Hall of Fame speech and his hitting tutorials, because he is that obsessed about chasing and being one of these all-time great first basemen. It's just a lot of people took that stuff and use it. And there were certain people in the media who were posting when he was doing yoga and trying to act like it was more me, Triston Casas, me, than be the ball player. And that just wasn't it. Triston Casas, like, out there doing yoga. He's not asking anyone to take pictures of him 3-4 hours before a game. That was never the case. It's part of his routine. It's how he goes about stuff. I'm not telling you Triston Casas has to be the leader of the Red Sox, but he has a lot of qualities that point to him being one of the leaders. And I don't think there's any reason to say he can't be that guy or he can't fill that role, because say what you will, a year ago, he was the offseason MVP. Alex Cora could not go off about that enough when he arrived at camp. He was at the rookie development program. And we've seen again, as Coley said last pod, he's been at everything this offseason. He has been the one willing to represent. He shows up to Camp Story. He puts that effort in. So, for an organization that hasn't had a lot of guys doing that, it's nice to see someone who steps up and does it, even when the organization's trying to kick him out the door.
Now, you can't question how much he cares. And that last point is very valid, too. And we mentioned this last pod, but the amount of talks that he's been in to still show up and be ready to go and keep a positive attitude all offseason, I'll pull a T. I tip my cap to you because I would not be like that. I don't think most people would be like that if you're constantly hearing, not even just like it was every week. He was in like a new trade rumor or the discussions were coming up that they were going to ship him out of town. I would be very curious what the significant others of Red Sox players, like when Red Sox players go home, right? Pillow talk, talking to the missus, talking to the girlfriend, talking to the wife. What do they talk about? Like, what do they say about Triston Casas? Because those conversations have happened of like how the players on the team feel about him. I'd be very curious of that. It's a complete hypothetical that's going to go nowhere, but they have thoughts. He's a guy that you have to have thoughts on. You can't not have an opinion on Triston Casas. But then I also look at it as being a scale when you talk about the goofiness. Like, if you're producing at a high level and leading this team to the playoffs, be as goofy as you want. Manny's probably not a fair comparison, but the dude was like in the green monster during the game. Doesn't matter. He hits 40 bombs a year. You can do whatever you want. You can goof around a little bit when you're one of the faces of the franchise. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed at how he handled this offseason. I'll definitely say that because a lot of players would have been like, this is BS and maybe request a trade if you're going to put him in a trade that much. It seems like he didn't hint at that at all.
When has the goofiness gotten in the way? One time where he said something sarcastically, jokingly, and it got blown up. That he felt like he got shot and stabbed.
Stabbed.
He's being dramatic.
Normal one.
Do you think he was being serious? If you probably heard the tone, you get it.
No, but I get why it rubbed people the wrong way because they were like, now it seems like malpractice. Now it seems like we're knowingly putting you into baseball games when you are in immense pain, and we're risking further injury by doing that.
Yes, but if there was a consistent thread of behavior like that and doing things like that, I'd get it. When you take it, and a lot of the people that want to run with these narratives about who he is, and it's the nail polish and the yoga and the fact that he does social media for, MLB TikTok at the All-Star game, and he took the mic and Brian Bayo had to come out.
Mookie Betts did that. Does anyone have a problem with that?
But that's where you see the narratives of people trying to string these together and say, oh, he's this guy and he's that guy. And once again, I challenge someone who says the things they do about Triston Casas to say them on record. Say the things you hear about him. I want to hear it because no one is willing to take that stance and put them out there. Instead, you hear other former ball players talk about how much of a hitting guru he is. You hear Roman Anthony go on different podcasts and talk about Triston has been so good to me. I went and worked out with him over the offseason. He was showing me all these different hitting drills and these different things. And like you hear players inside the game talk about what he's doing mentally and how special it is. But it seems like behind the scenes, you get a totally different version that no one's willing to come out with.
One thing
he's got to keep the beard, by the way.
He does. One thing I've learned in the years that we've done this podcast is to not just base my opinions off the things we hear, off maybe what Jerry hears, off, God forbid, maybe something I hear, because there's so much that goes on over the course of 162.
Why God forbid?
What's up?
Why God forbid?
Maybe not God forbid there. That's probably not the right phrase. But no, more just like, hey, maybe even I heard it. That's kind of the tone I was going for.
Oh, was it self-deprecating?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
All right.
You hear more stuff than me.
No, I don't.
That's false.
I hear the most stuff.
Tyler hears the most stuff.
T is actually anything when the streets are talking, T's talking. That's basically what we mean by that.
I wanted to add this earlier. I heard similar to you, Jared, that there was conversations with Justin Turner in the month of December.
There you go. But my point being that there's so much stuff that happens over the course of 162 that these players are going to base their opinions off of constantly showing up every day and being around a certain individual and how they're acting around them. That's good or bad. Like, I'm sure there's some players that are rubbed the wrong way about Triston and what he's doing off the field. I'm saying of stuff we don't even know. Like, so we don't necessarily know all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And if he's done more things that might be a little bit too quirky or annoying that haven't been reported, that list is so long. I do love when players tell us that on the show. Like, that's come up before where it's like, you guys wouldn't even know the half of it, of the stuff that goes on during the season. So there is that element of it, the unknown, that I think we got to, give a little bit of a credit to, a little bit of notice to. Jerry?
Does anyone here think that not giving Tyler O'Neill the qualifying offer was a huge mistake?
I'm fine with it. He was a major part of your K problem last year, striking. The Red Sox had.
Do you think he would have accepted
percentage? I think he would have heavily considered it, but I still think there's a fair chance he turned it down.
I don't think he would have taken it.
What did he get? 60? What did he end up
349.5.
Okay, less than I thought. 3 for 50.
But for a guy like him, those multiple years are so important because I don't think he's going to repeat what he did last season. Hell, he barely made it through last season. And he was hurt.
He did.
Throughout the year.
Through last season.
So for him, it's like, get those years. But if you're going to fix your K problem, like, Tyler O'Neill's right at the center of it.
Yeah.
And that's another part where Nolan Arenado helps you. The guy does not strike out a lot, does not chase a lot.
No.
Doesn't hit 30 bombs.
Definitely not.
I mean, he could hit 25.
What if he just did? What if he just came here and just hit 30 homers and just shut everybody up about the bat thing? Could happen.
It's not crazy. It's not crazy. He's not decrepit. Tyler?
See?
So this thing you're talking about, Jared, I heard it last pod and I wanted to text you about it. So was this just like something you heard, like one of their internal projections things that would tell you what Nolan Arenado's actual stat line would look like with those Fenway games? Because all we really have is like the expected home runs, right? And I think it was 16 for Baseball Savant. So it's interesting to hear it. That's how it's.
Well, I've got people that have that data.
I do forget you have that.
Yeah,
that hefty tool of yours.
Yeah, and I know the people that
Pace
own and operate it. So I'll ask, be like,
Just talks
hey,
about his dick for some reason.
that big honking hog. Yeah.
I'd be like,
Let me
hey
give a shout out
guys,
to your penis real quick. Well,
if Nolan Arenado played at Fenway Park for half the year last year, what does that look like? And it looked like if he was coming off a season of hitting 290 with a fucking 830 OPS and 22 home runs or whatever and 95 RBI, no one would be like, oh, old man, decrepit fucking corpse Arenado to the
Sox. 110 point difference. It's 110 from what he finished with.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I get the point about lefties, but it's great defense and the swing plays exponentially better at Fenway Park.
It's also like we talk about every player too often as if their career is like a perfect like TP, and it's just not how it goes at all. Like,
I've never seen a perfect TP.
No, they're rare. They haven't made a good one since like 83 probably, but
yeah.
It's more likely he's going to squiggle down and there will be ups and downs. Like the idea that he could not put up a slightly above average, like 110 OPS season is crazy to me.
Wasn't his WAR
OPM
still
plus.
like 2.5 last year anyway?
Yeah, 2.5 last year, 2.4 the year before, and then obviously the 2022 MVP.
So why
like he finished third? It was 7.7.
If he gives you 3 WAR, you're elated with that.
I think the concern is if the bat takes another step back, at that point he's a below average bat, and it's like
it's not taking another step back.
Not
that's
saying
a,
it's wrong,
that's
but I
a
think there's
Stevie P
reasons
guarantee.
for both.
Stevie P guarantee his OPS plus is better in 2025 than it is in 2024 if he plays for the Red Sox.
I was going to say, yeah, that's an important one.
Yeah, if he plays for the Red Sox, the OPS plus is better in 2025 than it was in 2024.
What if he plays
Stevie
for the
P
Yankees?
guarantee? Huh?
There you go.
What if he plays for the Yankees?
Awful ballpark for him.
Oh, bad. Yeah.
Probably like a 70 OPS plus.
Yeah. Be very bad.
Of course.
Yeah. You know what else is bad? Losing your hair. Man, if you've lost your hair, it doesn't mean that you can't find it again. Try Hims Hair Loss Solutions, and you'll be joining hundreds of thousands of subscribers who found their hair again. Hims provides you with convenient and quality access to a range of hair loss treatments that work all from the comfort of your couch. Hims makes treating hair loss simple with doctor-trusted options and clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil that can regrow your hair in as little as 3 to 6 months. Choose from personalized, chewable oral spray and serum treatments to find what works best for you. The process is simple and 100% online. There's also no uncomfortable doctor visits. Answer a few questions and a medical provider will determine a treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you for free. No insurance is needed, and one low price covers everything from treatments to ongoing care. Hims has hundreds of thousands of trusted subscribers, and they can help you get your confidence back too with visibly thicker and fuller hair. Start your free online visit at hims.com/section10. That is HIMS.com/section10. 10 for your personalized hair loss treatment options. Hims.com/section10. Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescriptions products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and safety information. Whew. This morning, and I hate that I was the bearer of bad news. To Coley, we had a little FaceTime chat before the show. But it just about, Godfather stuff. Just, just life.
Good film.
Yeah, and then obviously, I mean, at the point of the conversation, we're obviously going to skip over into ball talk. Got to talk Sox a little bit. And I was in my office, and when I called Coley, I was in the middle of watching the Garrett Crochet press conference from this morning, and he's gone. If you missed it, I'm paraphrasing here. But he was asked a question of, hey, how about an extension with the Sox? And he was like, players like financial security and, they like being taken care of for their families and all. No, T, I'm talking. And
fucking talking.
I have the quote.
He's fucking talking.
I'm in the middle of paraphrasing the quote the way that it fits my narrative.
Christ.
Trying to make your life easier.
We'd be done with the paraphrasing by now if you'd just shut the fuck up. Jared, please continue.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, actually. And he said something to the effect of, it's nice to have security and all that, but I think I just want to fucking start the season, ball out, and be worth 10 times as much as if I sign a contract right now, which means he's gone. T? What the hell are you doing? There's buzzing going on.
Yeah, stop buzzing, dude.
I don't know what
Jesus.
Am I done?
Murphy.
Done buzzing?
Yeah. Oh, you were near the fucking sign. That's what it was. It was picking up the electricity from the sign.
The one hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, the hanging ceiling sign. Anyways, yeah, what was the real quote?
There's always pros and cons to everything. I think that the long-term security is definitely something attractive. As players, we like to look out for our family first, but with last year being my first taste of starting, part of me also wants to see what I could do with the full season of innings workload.
Yeah,
They're offering him like 10 years for $10 million.
I took that as you better come with a legit offer. And this is the issue with the way Craig Breslow and the way Andrew Bailey have spoken. They have called him an ace. They have called him a top 5 pitcher in the sport. They have framed him in that light, which is aggressive, but they're hyping up their acquisition because he is what stands out from their offseason. If you show up there with a lackluster offer, it's going to blow up very quickly. So come correct. If you don't, then you're going to go through the season. But to Crochet's credit, he has said, I will, the agent will discuss it with the team even during the year. So maybe it's as simple as
over.
They get off to a hot start.
This is too.
I'm not
that
too
negative
over it.
I don't think it's that bad. I read.
What kind of haul do you think they can get from at the deadline?
Yeah, it would be something serious. It would be something serious. The Garrett Crochet package. We might get Kyle Teal and Braden Montgomery. You might be able to pull 2 top 50 guys.
Yeah.
I don't like reading too much into the part of the quote where it's like, yeah, I could see myself at Fenway for a long time playing in front of this fan base. But I think he means that. That's the kind of thing that, and no disrespect to T, but that's the kind of thing that T would point to. Most players do say that kind of stuff, but I think he means that. I think he genuinely would.
Soto did not say that. Soto was like, talk to Cashman. That cheap fuck.
Yeah, he kept saying talk to my agent. He was just, mentioning Boris and Cashman. But no, I genuinely don't think this is the end of the world. It was interesting to paraphrase how I paraphrased it was I'd be very interested to see how much I could dominate or the challenges that could be at hand if I get this full innings workload. I don't think it was just I'm going to go out there, be the best pitcher of all time and be, signing somewhere else after the contract is up. But you seem to be down on it, Jerry.
I expect the worst. It's not his doing. I expect the worst from this front office and this ownership. That's all.
Yeah, always.
It's just everyone should be fired. If he walks, everyone should be fired. It shouldn't even be a conversation.
No, he's
everyone.
Right.
Get them all out. They're gone.
Listen, I am with you, T. I thought for sure that they would have gotten something done before he showed up to camp. And then as we got closer to camp, the sentiment seemed to become, oh, they'll get it done when he shows up. They just want to see him in camp and they'll get something done in spring training. When the fuck have we ever done that? Besides Rick Porcello, that one time. When the fuck have we ever gotten an extension done in spring training?
Rafael Embeo.
When was Whitlock extended? Was that just during the season?
No, he's right. That.
Put me. I'll go. I earned that.
There's no reason to extension talk in January.
I'm talking big money extensions. When was Rafi? That was in December. Yeah.
Yeah, right around arbitration. No,
yeah.
January. Beginning of January.
It was early January, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking big time extensions.
But Jerry,
This
let's
is a
be
big
honest
boy
here.
one.
Can we be honest here?
Yeah.
I understand you're not pumped about the quotes and you think he's gone and all that. Realistically,
I'm being
though,
dramatic.
I know you are. You're being a little dramatic. and
Not on
that's
purpose,
fine.
but it's because I've been so abused by this team that I
know. You're protecting yourself. Is
Yes,
what you're doing.
yes,
and
it's a
that's
defense mechanism. Thank you.
totally
You're
okay.
battered.
Yeah.
I get it. We're all battered. We've been through a lot. We want this to be a fun year. But
Yeah.
realistically, I mean, we got 6 weeks. Like, if they sign this at any point from now until 6 weeks from now, everything's fine.
What is your
Right?
confidence level that something gets done in the next 6 weeks?
Well, based off of what you said, based off of what we've talked about on this podcast for years now, expecting the ownership group and the front office to make the right decision is a moronic thing to do. But kind of like T's alluding to, this is a different case. This is Garrett Crochet. This is the king pig. Like, come on, you got to be able to get this deal done. And what's even the point of making the deal if you're not going to extend him? And we talked about this when they acquired him. It is a mega problem to assume that you can go through this season and sign him next offseason. I think that's like a 0% chance to me that almost regardless of what happens, I'm sure everything's situational, but I'd highly doubt that he would sign something next offseason. Just get it done before opening day and then we're fine.
If he gets that close, it's over, brother.
It's over. It's big over by next offseason if they don't get it done. Go.
What do you think he wants, Jared? Because I think what I took from that is he's like, I'm not signing for like a Braves deal.
Exactly.
Well, first of all, how many years are we talking, do you think?
Probably to his age 30 season, I'd assume.
Like 6.
Probably an opt-out at 30.
31. Yeah, he's going to want to have a chance to hit free agency at like 30. He's 25 right now.
But he'll want an opt-out because he also knows his arm could fall off. So I don't think it's going to be like he wants a 4-year deal. He probably wants a 7-year deal where he can opt out after 4.
Agreed.
But like the number, I don't think is going to be like he's not going to get who's the Corbin Burns just got. You know what I mean? He's not going to get what Fried just got. He's probably not going to get what Nola got last year.
No. And I think that's basically what he's saying is I need to build more of a track record as a starting pitcher and then we'll talk dollars. Because right now, like if you're talking agents and executive discussions, the benchmark or the comparable contracts that they're going to bring up are going to be so wildly insulting to him that it's like, yeah, like let's trade for this pitcher that could eventually this year, as soon as this year, become a superstar ace. Let's piss him off immediately. Let's compare him to like Ramiro Mendoza and see where that gets us in contract talks.
But like you got to factor in what's he making, like 3.5 this year, T?
Yeah.
And then it's going to jump up to like 8 next year, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, they ended up giving him $1 million more than what he was supposed to get.
Right. So you fold in that 11 over these next 2, and then you're trying to sign him for what, like 5, 120. So it looks like a $731 million deal. Like that shouldn't be. I think that's with the opt out after 4. I think that's agreeable for everyone. If he wants more than that, he's a psychopath, like genuine psychopath.
Jose
seems like a
Barrios,
reasonable
7
guy.
years, 131 back in 2021.
Say that again.
Jose Barrios, 7 years.
Jose Barrios.
7 years, 131.
Was there an opt out?
I don't think so.
He was supposed to be a free agent after the following season, so this was 1 year before after the trade. I don't believe so. I don't think there was an opt out in there. Give me a second.
Okay.
The reason I probably buy too much into him saying the Fenway and the Red Sox stuff, but he seems like the dude that would genuinely love to be here and want to be at the center of like be on the mound, middle of the park, main attraction. Like I'm the guy. He gives those vibes off. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's, one of the main reasons why he wants to stay here. But also like we don't factor in, I think, nearly enough of what he just went through in Chicago. It's like I'm not in, the south side of Chicago anymore, and the worst team in the history of baseball. Like, oh my God, the Red Sox from the White Sox looks incredible. Red Sox coming from other situations, a lot different, but now he's actually with hopefully a real baseball team that, has aspirations of winning a championship at some point in the near future.
Just to wrap up the Jose Barrios thing, he had an opt out after 2026, but yeah, he signed his deal at age 28. Yes, has an opt out. You're right. We haven't got there yet. I will say too, Crochet, took a significant shot at the White Sox during that first meeting with the Red Sox media, where he was like, the first start out of the All-Star break, I was supposed to throw 70 and build up. They pulled the rug out from underneath me. And I was like, whoa, like that's a pretty pointed comment. So maybe a month here and he's just like, all right, like this is what it's like to be on a professional baseball team, a professional organization that has their shit somewhat together. You just better come correct. If it's an insulting offer right off rip, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, all right, well, we're going to take a step back here. Yeah, you do what you do. Let's play some baseball.
I don't know how much, it seems like not at all. I don't know how much ownership cares about like what the fan reaction is to certain moves and if they'd be worried, oh, you give them that much, you do that. If they sign Crochet, no one's going to be like, what are you doing? Like, why would you extend him? And then if it doesn't work out, no, it's not going to like backfire on you. If he gets hurt, then he fucking gets hurt. Like that happens. Sometimes, clearly that's happened with Trevor Story. Like that happens with some of your players. And Chris Sale, understandable. But no one, Chris Sale's obviously a different situation, but no one's going to be upset if you extend this guy at this point of his career. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But that should give them extra oomph to want to do it.
And
yeah.
Not that that means that he's impervious to it moving forward, but he's already had Tommy John surgery.
So he's got it out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, some guys get two, but it's a death sentence if you get two, unless you're Nathan Eovaldi. But the fact that he's already had
Walker
it.
Buehler.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
No, he's good.
He's great.
If I'm signing a pitcher, though, like from the team perspective, wouldn't you want more years to give yourself more cracks at this guy pitching? You know what I mean? Like you sign these guys to these short contracts with the thought like, oh, if he gets hurt, he's off our books soon. No. If you think he's good, he gets hurt. Yeah, do that. Write all contracts like how Lackey's was written. If you get this specific injury, we get free labor out of you.
Well, he was psychotic for agreeing to that, by the way.
Sure, but it's because at the time that was like top of the league money. No one else was offering it.
When the hell else? And trust me, I'm not saying that I would love if anyone that the Red Sox signed a contract like that. But when have you heard of a contract like that being agreed to ever again or prior to that?
I mean, how many have been triggered so that it did that? You know what I mean? Like there are clauses in every deal that are unique to every contract. We have no idea. If it didn't come to fruition, we don't know. Like I'm sure the Angels would have loved to have done that with Rendon. They're just dumb.
Yeah, they're very dumb. But also at the time, he just wasn't an injury-prone guy.
No, he wasn't.
Also, if you're willing to and you believe in Crochet the way you're talking, years shouldn't scare you. Keep knocking the AAV down because it's just going to look better as time goes along. If you believe he's a top of the rotation guy, even at this point, if you sign him, hell, if he turns out to be a 2 or a 3, it's going to be a bargain for the last 5-6 years of the deal, no matter what, with the way money's going up.
Same way they looked at Bayo last year. Like if Bayo's a career number 4, that's fine with what you're paying him.
Yeah.
And I think for the Red Sox, considering it's been mostly, most people have them in a C for the offseason, getting this done is kind of like the big kind of cherry on top for them. I'm not saying the fans would be happy. We'd probably be like, all right, thank God they got it done. But to them, that's probably the finishing exclamation point on what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the whole show just yeah.
Yeah.
They should just sign him. It's one of those things where you trade for one of the best pitchers in the game. Has he even been announced yet in this MLB Top 100? I think he's in the top 20, if I'm not mistaken. Because Raffy was 21st and Jaron was 27th, I think. So he hasn't even been mentioned yet, which is.
Do you think he's going to be in the top 20?
There's no way he's not.
Definitely.
I mean, he's got to be, right?
Definitely.
He wouldn't be 101. He's not.
I think he's capable.
Rasaki.
There's no way he's not in the top
Sasaki. I just pulled a Tyler. I just called him Rasaki. Oh God, that was
Rasaki.
terrible. What's up with the Dodgers pitchers? We can't get any of these guys right.
I think he's viewed more highly than even we view him league wide.
Huh.
I think when someone has that type of stuff, I mean, every list I've seen come out just in terms of stuff plus from last year, it's him and Scooble 1, 2, for everything.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
This is for a podcast, just complete momentum killers. Just
All 5 of us say exactly one sentence, and the other 4 of us just go,
I would die.
all right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Let's be real. I mean, even though pitchers and catchers is reported, I'm still kind of in that mode of just like, what's going on right now? Like, there's some stuff. There's some rumors that we've been talking about for 3 months, and guys are throwing baseballs.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's been what's excited you, T, as far as like the videos? You fucking love
this. Is his Super Bowl, by the way.
Yeah.
Pitchers and catchers. T's like, I'm gonna do so many spaces in my tweets.
I'm sorry.
What's excited you the most? Like something that you saw visually, it wasn't AI, that really excited you this spring so far?
Well, it's nice to see the jersey like names in the back look normal, and like that just jumps to me the minute you look at anything right now. It's like, holy fuck, things look normal again. Garrett Crochet's body, I'm not trying to be weird, dude. He is so thick and well built and strong. Like I want to, I don't want to grab him, but like I kind of want a handful. You know what I'm saying?
You're not being
like,
weird right now.
I'm not being weird, but I want a handful. There is a lot of ass on that man in the best way possible. He's thick as fuck. Like, he is built to throw. He hasn't done it yet, but he should be able to throw 175 innings.
I don't want to be weird, but like, what's your penis look like?
I just see his body.
He
and I'm
just
like,
kept
fuck.
going.
Dude, even Cora was like,
keep going,
he's Chris Sale,
Yeah.
but like buff as fuck. Like, that tells you everything you need to know.
For sale with an ass.
That's it.
Yeah, he does look strong. That boy looks strong.
I will say, T, I agree more with what you led with. The fact that they have the right size names on the jerseys now. I hate how much that excited me. Of all the pictures and videos that we've seen so far, just seeing the normal size name on the friggin' jersey got me ecstatic. I remember them announcing it like a month into the season, like, oh yeah, by next year they're going to be fixed. Just fix it now. I still don't understand why they couldn't have just updated it and had the right names on the jerseys, but not going to complain now. We're back to normal names on the jerseys, even though our guy, Walker Buehler, 2-time Tommy John World Series winner, had posted with the white jersey with the name on it. I wish Fanatics had just sent him an authentic with the 0, but that's a seperate convo for a different day. Yeah.
Outside of those things, I'm not going to give you a Cooper Criswell note because I think you might kill me if I do. I think the 6-man rotation conversation, the fact that we've got into spring training, and as we've seen, it's usually shut down the first day of camp. We'd hear, oh, they're considering it. And then Cora would be like, fuck off. Don't even bring it up. We're not doing that. Breslow saying we're considering it and Cora not backing away either is pretty telling. And there's a lot of reason, as we've talked about with the MLB schedule, especially early in the season for the Red Sox. But that and the closer competition, I think, are going to be 2 pretty important storylines as we go here.
Yeah.
Quick question here for Jerry and Coley. And T, we got your thought. This isn't against T. We've been doing this pod for a long time. Obviously, a little break there, but since 15 and Coley in 18, we've had a lot of pitchers and catchers, right? We've seen this happen a lot. There's been a lot of iterations of this team during the course of Section 10.
Yeah.
What did you guys feel when you saw the videos and the pictures of the guys showing up? Because we've seen so many versions of this, and I might have felt the least this year, and that's not even being negative. That's not even like, oh, this year's going to suck. Like, I actually think they could make the playoffs this year. But I couldn't even really get super excited about it. How did you guys look at it? Jerry?
Can I confess something without you guys judging me?
I would never.
What do you got?
There were some, like, I don't know if it was like the Red Sox main account or like Nesson that had pictures, videos of guys showing up. There were like a couple slides where I'm like, I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Not good.
No.
If you don't know, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. I'm like, I looked at, I had to like click on the thing to be like, hopefully this person's tagged because I don't know who the fuck that is.
Imagine they're not like, they don't even know. They're like a baseball player shows up to Fort Myers. Oh,
yeah.
Was like, the Carlos Narvaez picture? Did that one get you?
I'm not gonna. I know who it is now. I'm not gonna say who it was. But yeah, there was a couple slides where I'm like, don't know who the fuck that guy is. But yeah, I mean, I think seeing I remember back to spring training 2015, 16, like seeing Price in call it.
Do we suspend Tyler on the last show for tweeting about Truck Day. Do we want to do it again?
Oh yeah.
No, we've moved on.
I think. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna finish this conversation, and then we're gonna have him atone for his sins.
Okay.
After
this is worse. This is like waiting out to be shot.
Yes. Anyways, so I remember spring training 2016, seeing Price show up in a Red Sox uniform for the first time. Very cool. Seeing him. There's a shot of Price and Kimbrel like playing catch and then like smacking gloves when they were done. I was like, that's a cool fucking shot. Kimbrel to like Price to Kimbrel, like that's amazing. Seeing Sale, like his first spring with the Red Sox, like that was cool to see him in a Red Sox uniform. Spring, what was that? 17. Seeing JD show up in Red Sox stuff in 18, like that was very cool. Like seeing Crochet show up in Red Sox stuff, I think it felt it's cool. Like it's almost like, I don't know, I have to be careful about how I say this. It's not a knock, it's a compliment to Crochet. Like seeing him show up, it's like that's a fucking ball player right there. Like that, like he's a guy. And then seeing some of the other guys show up, I'm like, oh man, like I feel like, you know, most people could run into the, like, you know how like if you saw Garrett Crochet out in public and you didn't like baseball at all, you would look at him and be like, he's got to do something. Like he's got to be somebody,
like,
you know?
He'd be like, what's up, McMahon?
Yeah. Like he's got to play some sport or like compete athletically for something. Then there's a lot of guys that show up to spring training for this team and you're like, all right, dude, like, you know,
all right, do you play here? I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Like, what do you?
I bet it's easy
Can
to
I see
break
your
in.
ID? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I
you
don't
serving
actually
the
believe.
food here? What are you doing?
Yeah, you're like laundry room's back there, but I don't know. But so like, yeah, like seeing Crochet, yeah, like I felt a little something, but I think seeing Price show up, it felt different because the Red Sox were all in. It's like you see the star player from the offseason, but you had an offseason that put you in a position to be great that season. Same thing when they got Chris Sale. Same thing when they got JD Martinez. It's like you see the new shiny toy, but he's joining a team that you truly believe can make a run to be a playoff team. And for me, I see the new shiny toy, but he's joining a team that just finished 500. Like what are we in store for this year? I'm not entirely bought into what Breslow is saying about it being a playoff team. Would it shock me if they made the playoffs? No, but I'm kind of in that, like, you know, when we do the predictions, I'm probably going to fall somewhere in a win total where, yeah, it's a winning team, but I don't know if that number gets it done in terms of a wild card.
Cool.
It's also less exciting for whatever reason to trade for someone than sign someone.
I mean, Chris Sale was a trade. We were pretty fucking pumped.
No, but we
Were you
just
more
talked
hyped for
about the
Price or Sale?
indecision with Garrett Crochet. Like it's totally different if he was on a 6-year, 7-year deal. You just look at him differently because you know he's going to be here.
Right. Sale had what, like 3-4 years of control when we got him? It had to have been at least 3 because he got the extension after 18.
Yeah.
Because he was under contract for 19, so 17, 18, 19. He was definitely at 3 years of control, so it was even longer with that too. But if we had outright signed Crochet, or if we had signed Fried, I think it would be more excitement around that. But again, the last position player they signed was Adam Duvall, and I think that plays into it.
But that's the whole offseason conversation. I think we're all in that 84, 85, 86 win area. One more move and you're at the 90 win mark, or at least you can predict it and you don't sound that crazy. But that hesitation there, they don't seem willing to extend. And, you know, maybe, I don't know, if you think they get Nolan Arenado, does that make them a 90 win team in your eyes? I wouldn't go that far. I think Bregman's the kind of move that could.
It could.
But you could be 88, like in that ballpark, right?
You know
feel
what?
Closer.
You know what, T?
Go.
If the Red Sox trade for Nolan Arenado, I will pick them to win 90 games.
Wow.
Boom. There you go. I don't even think that's that bold. I think that's fair. It does kind of feel like the offseason would be complete if you do that. And a lot of people would hate that phrase, but
boom.
More just from the expectation to what then ended up happening. I think that's a pretty damn good offseason. But with the pitchers catchers thing showing up, I think in seasons past, we would have known the date a little bit more. It was less than 2 weeks, and they did show up, which is great. So, credit to them. Way under, definitely way under 2 weeks from last episode when they showed up to spring training. But it's always, for what we do and how locked in we are, with this team, it's always just riding the momentum from the previous season. And the previous offseason, but so much of it comes from the previous 162 that you watched. And when you stack the last 3 on top of each other, and an offseason that a lot of people are pretty disappointed with overall, then that's why you get these vibes of like, okay, yeah, no, they're at the fort. They got Crochet.
They're going to play.
They're going to play, and they might make the playoffs. That's kind of how we all feel about it.
It also feels like spring training in 2025 is so different. Like half these guys have been down there already for a month, weeks at a time. They're doing live BP. Like they're all throwing live BP this weekend. Even the guys like a Garrett Whitlock, who's coming off a major elbow surgery. They're talking Kristian Campbell hitting off high velocity machines. Like these guys, it's a different way they go about the offseason now. And I do think it's encouraging to see that many people have been hanging around Fort Myers, including your franchise player and Rafael Devers, to see people kind of, forming a group. Hopefully it leads to something. I'm not saying it's definitely going to lead to more wins, but it can't hurt.
I'm excited to be there, in a week. Sorry, T. Okay. But the only other time I was down there was 2022, and the vibes were pretty damn good because you're coming off, 2 wins from the World Series, and everyone's like, all right, we got a lot of these guys back, and we run it back and do it again. And that dictates how you feel in spring training. Of course, this is just we can't really compare this version of the Red Sox to anything else because you see the interviews with Anthony and Campbell, and you're like, I couldn't tell you what they're going to do this year. Like, they could be really good. They could make a huge impact. Who knows? And then you got Crochet here. You got some other people, Bueller. It's not a ton of pieces, but you've obviously made a couple additions, and you need some guys to have career years if you want to make the playoffs. So if you want to be overly optimistic, which I don't think any of us are, but we're not overly pessimistic, you're kind of in that no man's land of like, all right, let's see how it goes. That's how it feels.
We'll see how it goes.
One other thing, the Roman Anthony little 3-minute interview that Nesson threw up today.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking this kid, like 20 years old, man. He is already like the most composed person talking to the media. Like he'd be one of the first people.
They were fucking this kid.
It's ridiculous. Like he's sitting up there talking. I'm like, he'd be easily one of the first guys you go to after a loss.
TC's just banging him. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Listen, not fucking any kids, but I respect it.
I'm gonna real quick, because I saw you posted the Roman Anthony clip. I think Roman Anthony is a great boy. I hope he is one of the best players that we have on this team. He's not going to give you much in the interviews. I think he's pretty down to earth. He's pretty chill. I don't even think he wants to do the interviews, and I say that in a good way. He's not in like a attitude way. I think he just wants the ball. I think he just wants to be in the cage, get better every single day. A lot of guys say the cliche stuff. I think Roman Anthony's about that and like genuinely wants to be a star and be a big deal in the league. When he gets to the majors and gets to Fenway, I was just picturing this yesterday. Like, we talk about these guys so much, they become these like hypothetical, these like mythical creatures. Right, he's going to be at Fenway Park, and he's going to be up with the bases loaded and 2 out. And what is Roman Anthony going to do? How is this, fan base going to treat him? What's he going to be like once he gets to the big leagues? I do see a lot of similarities to Benny in terms of attitude, just pretty chill dude. Down to earth, could have a huge impact. Obviously, you want him to be better than overall than what Benny's career was here. But yeah, it is interesting seeing him do the interviews because he's just he's composed. Got that stone face. He's composed, but it's I can just sense that he's like, I just want to get better. I just want to ball. I don't really want to do this, but not in like any kind of negative way.
It's just like one of those interviews where you don't sit there and it's like, it's clear like he's just like trying to get through it. It's just normal answers, normal talking. Working through it where you'd be like, yeah, go talk after a 5-3 loss and no one will bat an eye at anything you said, but you took care of business.
And good point on UT. I forget he's 20 every day.
Ridiculous.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say he's 24, 25 years old. And the fact that he's still 20, he can't even legally drink yet. And he's going to be a guy that's being asked all these questions is kind of crazy. But he seems like he's going to be able to handle it, which is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one more thing I wanted to talk about.
Over to Jared
on this podcast here. It's our guy T.
Damn it.
T wanted it to be about like a random prospect so bad. He's like, it's me.
100 Dobbins.
Hunter Dobbins follows you, huh?
Big Hunter Dobbins guy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Follows
my
me
guy.
too, but he follows you, and that's cool.
You're Jared Carabas.
Oh, come on. You
I'm
Travis.
You probably what? You probably tweeted out his spray charts and his FIP.
Fit dip.
Yeah.
Oh, honestly, I
His
have
asshole.
no. He follows me on Instagram, which is like, I don't know why you would do that, but I appreciate it.
Probably because
Because you don't say anything on there. You're quiet.
Good take.
Yeah.
He loves the silence of you on IG. I think that's why.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do some Dobbins discourse after we eviscerate you for your fucking truck day tweet. What do you have
Was
to
the
say for
segment
yourself?
not enough? I listened to it.
No.
Okay.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Listen, I'm a baseball guy, first and foremost. So, when you're sitting there and it's truck day and you got to acknowledge what's going into that truck. If there was missing items on that truck or something, there could be accidents. There could be crisis.
Where does the truck go, T?
It goes to Fort Myers, Florida.
No.
Have you ever seen any proof of that?
I have not, but I do feel like 5 years ago, they used to tweet when the truck would get there. I did not see that tweet the last couple of years.
I've never seen it in my life.
Show the tweet from 5 years ago, T.
Give me one second.
find the
I'll
tweet.
And
find
show
that.
the truck in the tweet. You can tweet anything.
Right. Like, oh, truck's here.
Yeah, their tweet is just, it got here all right. Just no media.
Right. There's so much media and video of it leaving, and then exactly zero of it arriving. T. Thoughts?
You could argue there's way too much media of it leaving. It's like, I know what the truck looked. They give you. I looked Red Sox truck day on Google. You get every angle of that truck.
yeah.
You get every tire. It's like Wally's here by the truck. He's there by the truck.
Mhm.
All right.
But nothing in Fort Myers. See,
I'm not trying to cook y'all. I have video. February 6th, 2025. I have video of them emptying the truck down in Fort Myers and it arriving.
The
different truck.
It's a different
Did you just say
truck.
2025?
That's what year it is.
Why? Yeah. Why? We just asked you if they've ever emptied it, and you referenced a tweet from 5 years ago as the most recent. You
I didn't
tweeted
see
out
the
the
news
video
story.
a week
I haven't
ago.
found that tweet yet.
What does that have to do with what I just said?
Well, in general, we're talking about the truck never arriving. I have a news story here.
it's a different truck.
That's
I will
kind of how
not
I
push
feel about
drug
it.
propaganda.
Some great folks that work at Fenway that listen to the show.
Whoa.
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 Hold on.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Hit
Hold
the
on.
fucking
What?
horn, Jerry.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on. Don't.
Chandler Rome, your boy.
We got to stop down. Hold on.
You gotta call him.
Oh, what just happened? What? What? Hold on.
What's going on?
My phone's dead.
We had to stop. We're not live. We had to stop the show. But what the fuck just happened? Are you for real? What are you talking about? Where the fuck is this? Hold on.
Chandler Rome, your boy.
Chandler. Bro, hold on.
What?
Wait, what?
Buenas noches, amigos.